If you understood residual income, you would run through a brick wall to get it. If you got it in your mind, if you knew what residual income felt like, you would run through a brick wall to get it.
When we started this business, we were staring at a brick wall. And our brick wall was a 2-year-old son. I was pregnant with our second child. I was allergic to the hormone the child was releasing, and so I was really sick. We had no marketable skills. We had no degrees. And at 23, we'd already been knocked to the ground a couple of times. And so as working as a cosmetologist, David working full-time and going to school, we realized something very important about leverage.
Yeah, we realized we didn't have any. Some of you can relate. So, basically, I just started working more to make up the lost income from Stacy's, as a cosmetologist. So I took on a second job and a third job and a fourth job. I'm donating plasma 3 times a week for $15, $20, $25 a pop in between, and just basically working harder to make more money. And, I grew up with a little bit of an overinflated value for hard work. And while hard work is important, but it's like saying, don't kill people. That's the key to success. Or don't lie, or don't steal. Of course you got to work hard. It's a given. But I had to work hard to make money for me to be a good person. And I didn't understand leverage. I only stood work harder. And while that's a piece of the equation, it doesn't create wealth.
Leverage, I remember the first time I really understood leverage, and that was when I was 23, working in a salon. And in that salon, I didn't own the salon, but I worked for a lady that had 15 cosmetologists working in that salon, and she didn't cut hair. She was still making a percentage of everything that they were doing. When I stopped cutting hair, I stopped making money. And I realized that leverage was happening all around me. I also realized that in life, if you don't have leverage, you are somebody else's leverage.
That's what we were. So we just kept working harder and harder. And as it applies to this business, there's not a direct correlation between the time that you put in and your income. They don't track your time. Yes. They don't track your effort. They don't track your IQ. They don't track what you deserve. They don't track any of these things. They track the production of an organization that you can lead by priming the pump with your own personal hours. That's what they do. They prime the pump because you got to put in a certain amount of time yourself to get things started, to get things rolling. And for me, we just didn't have a lot of time.
So in Market America, the leverage comes through the management performance compensation plan. JR found a way that he could take advertising dollars that were going to the guy on the hill, the rich man, and he took it and he spread it evenly between everyone that was producing that. That leverage created this thing that really looks like magic. But it really isn't magic, it's just math.
You guys, it looks like magic sometime when you see an Elizabeth Weber or you see a Stephen Sandy Rodriguez or any director and above. You see the lifestyle and the hundreds of thousands of dollars they're making. It looks like magic, but it's not magic. It's what? It's math. It's not magic. It's what? It's math. It's math. And sometimes when we equate outrageous incomes with outrageous giftings, you end up not doing what those people did to get where they are. And what creates the outrageous lifestyle is outrageous leverage. And that's what JR created with the MPCP. We're able to skim a little off of every transaction, like Stacy said, that would have gone somewhere else. It's not something for nothing, but it gets redirected back into this room instead of Madison Avenue. JR is like the Robin Hood of Wall Street. Okay? He's just redirecting money that would have gotten thrown into outer space and flown it into this room for us all to participate in if you create leverage and you got people in the room. But you got to have people in the room to get it.
Exactly. So you have to really understand, how do these hours work? Because not all hours are created equal. There's 2 types of hours. We have 45-year plan hours, and that's basically what we can do. And I'll be honest with you, in Market America, 45-year plan hours basically pay you minimum wage. What we look at, the leveraged hours, are the 2 to 3 year plan hours. 2 to 3 year plan hours is what an organization can do through your example. And so with that, that's where residual ongoing income starts to come in, and that's the power of Market America.
Really grab a hold of this, because like Stacy said, all hours are not created equal. okay? And so your old school mindset that you had before you came into this room may not apply to this vehicle, okay? If you rode a bicycle your whole life, and all of a sudden JR gives you a Ferrari, but you can't receive it. You can't believe I could go 80 miles an hour. You can't believe that you could go from the town you live in to the neighboring town in 15 minutes. You think it's got to take all day to ride your bike to the next town. And so you think you got to power everything with your legs. And so JR gives you this Ferrari, and you get in it, you don't know what to do. You don't turn the key. You just cut a hole in the floor and stick your feet out and do like the Flintstones, you know, and just try to, you know, make it go. But you're not, it doesn't make this special if you don't participate in what creates the leverage. And so we got to work sitting at the kitchen table, one person, two person, you know, showing the plan. And when we caught the idea that if we had more than one person there, we're working more than 1 hour per hour.
So
we
think
work
about
2,
it.
3, 4, 5, 100 hours per hour.
Exactly. So think about it. Let's say that you're going to show the business plan and you're sitting across the table from one person. It takes you an hour. You just got 1 hour of production done during that time. But if you had 4 people at that kitchen table, in that 1 hour, you got 4 hours of production in 1 hour. Now you're thinking smarter rather than harder. That's where the leverage comes from, and that's the importance of what Market America does.
You got to let go of that old school mind thinking. I break off of everyone in this room right now that earning money has to be hard. I break off everything in this room that says you've got to struggle to do it. You have to have leverage to do it, and it can be easy. It can be fast, and it can be fun, but you've got to have the leverage to do it. So we started building from one thing to the next with everybody's focus on the next big event. Okay, at the kitchen table, everything's going towards the next major event. And then kitchen table, everything next major event. And at the end of 1 year, we were making over $2,100 a week. Okay, at 25 years old, listen to this, millennials, you can get this knocked out quick. At 25, we were directors. At 28, we were executive directors in this company. We went from donating plasma 3 times a week to being able to donate money and have it at children's home and affect people in other countries.
Yes.
So the income could come in, but you've got to use the leverage in order to get it, okay? It was event to event. Every week, something important, and whatever the next thing was, it's like the world was going to end if you weren't in that room. It was such an urgency. I remember Pam Bowling saying on the first audio, our pay plan's weekly, and that builds in a weekly incentive urgency.
Yes.
I know that because I listen to audios. Weekly urgency, and all of that's focused on the next major event.
Exactly. So let's look at just this event right here. When we're going through just general session, not including all of the extra things, not the breakouts and the gala and all of the other things, but just the general section, we have 30 hours that are happening of training. So let's say that you're a brand new person here this weekend, then you're going to be getting 30 hours of training. But if you just have one other person here with you, you have 60 hours of training being done. You're doing 30, that's 45-year plan hours, but you're getting another 30, which is 2 to 3 year plan hours for a combination of 60, which can be scaled up infinitely.
So the hours that your bottom is touching that chair, you have to be here or your people won't come. But they're non-leveraged hours. Those are 45-year plan hours. You're compensated massive income for your residual income. So let me show you this next slide. I'll just unfold it. Let me give you one real-life example. You know what I love about our company? People always talk about ground floor opportunities. You got to get in now. This new thing is so good. You want to be in it early. How could you even get somebody in something you don't think is going to be good 3 years from now?
That's exactly right.
If you don't think it's going to be great 3 years from now, why would you get your cousin's cousin in now? I mean, that's a whole nother training. You know, because this business is better today for my son who is 2 years old. It's better today for him than it was then. That's the kind of business you want to be on that's really going to be there for you long term. And so,
that's exactly right.
Here's what it looks like in real life. He started by himself in a new area, going to college, just got married, worked at Outback Steakhouse. You can see on the slide, he was showing the plan to one person who had another person and making mistakes and calling me and doing things. And everything he did was geared towards getting people to his first event, which was 6 months ago in Miami. So he showed up. He put in 30 non-leveraged hours, 45-year plan hours of him in the seat during the event in Miami. But he had 14 people in his team there, and so he accomplished 420 hours of production. See, at Outback Steakhouse, he works an hour, he's paid an hour. Work an hour, paid an hour. He goes home, pay stops. Here, he put in 30 hours but got compensated for 420 of production, of people learning and educated. He got excited, bought 10 tickets. Everybody in his group at least got 3 because they wanted to follow Colton. And so they all go back to Reading. They get to work, and they're doing things. But he comes back to this event 6 months later. It's his second event. he's putting in the same 30 hours. Understand, on the graph, that's a flat line. You can come to every event the rest of your life, but if you don't get people in the room, you don't get any magic.
Exactly.
So at this event, he's accomplishing 1,891 hours in a 4-day period.
1,891 hours. I mean, think about that. That is 47 weeks of production if he was working a 40-hour job. That's right. Woohoo! So that would be 47 weeks if he was working a 40-hour job. Think about that. That is 1 year of production in 4 days. That is where the magic happens.
That's my main question I ask people. They say, I had a great meeting tonight. How many hours you work? I'll walk into a room. I'll walk up to a leader. I'll be like, how many hours you working tonight in this room? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I got one new guy. I want to know how many hours on your whole team, left leg, right leg. Not like, oh, you mean my strong side too? Hours of production in your organization, that's the number that we track. Always,
Exactly.
because that's exciting. All of a sudden you realize you get more done in 1 weekend than you will at your job in a year. We accomplish more hours of production today in 1 week, even if we're in our children's home, than we would have working jobs our entire life. Okay? It's because of the system and working event to event, being at the next event.
And we never did anything exceptional. If there was a camera that was following us around, there wouldn't be any day that you're like, wow. But what we understood was that when you get people to an event like this, something happens. Something happens where they get the belief. We understood the leverage. We knew that we were never good enough to be able to do it ourselves. And some of you guys are so talented that you think you can do it yourself. But when you do that, you'll never make the residual 6-figure ongoing income. You have to have the tickets. You have to be at the event. But you also have to have a group of people to create the leverage.
You're about to climb a mountain. You might be able to carry one person. You might be able to carry 2. But you could never carry 1,000. But you can lead 1,000 if you get your 3 tickets during the lunch break. Lead by example. You will be able to have whatever you want if you put people in the room and let JR do the work. You guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you.